Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Sure, yep.
It's good to have you on the show once again. This is Omobola Stephen, your host on Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. This podcast focuses on self-development and personal improvement topics with the occasion of expert and professionals who come to the show to share their insight on topics and subjects on the personal development and self-improvement. Now, if you want to catch up any of my missed episodes, just go online and search for Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen on any podcast distribution platforms you bump into online, and you have an amazing and worthwhile time listening to the show. On today's show, I have got Juan Lee, a transformational speaker, coach, thought leader on the power of love, author of Love Made Simple, and the founder, executive director of Clyde Journey. Now, Clyde Journey is the nonprofit that teaches teens and young adults financial management and attitudes for Clyde Journey life. Welcome me on the show today, Juan Lee.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that introduction. Thank you very much.
Great to have you on the show, Juan. Now, I'm looking forward to your professional insights on the topic for discussion. Now, you'll be sharing insight on growth, self-reflection, and mindset practices to put one on the path of hope. Such a timely topic for such a time as this, right? So, Juan, once again, I appreciate you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's talk about personal growth and development. Sure. So let's talk about personal growth and development. How can a person find the right path? Or let's put it this way, how can they figure out which pathway, right, is theirs and where it leads them?
You know, that's very interesting. Good question. That's the beginning stages of what love really does in one's life. Is that the first thing that it does is it addresses us as an individual to develop ourselves. And the three parts to that is that they first have to know self, accept self, and then develop self. And then the purpose of this is so that they can give self. And all of those processes that's the basis of everything that we're going to beginning to do in our life experience. It has to come from that place of developing self. And the first part to that is being able to accept self. And that's a process of beginning to understand you have to become very humble to really accept yourself. That means that you've got to accept the fact that you don't know it all, that you need help, that you're no different than anyone else, is that we need one another. And those are the foundations. These are the foundations of understanding what love is and understanding how we're all connected together. And until we are able to develop ourselves so that we can, know ourselves, so that we understand what we have to offer, then we become very inadequate and it relates to this big picture as it relates to humanity, because that's what we are. We're part of something bigger than ourselves. And so we have to learn that, we have to understand that developing ourselves is essential. And so first thing we have to do is ask ourselves the question, why do we do what we do? Why do we say what we say? And why do we act the way we act? These are questions that we have to begin to allow ourselves to get on the inside, to begin to analyze and look at ourselves and go, who's causing me to do what I'm doing? Because we have influences. We are being influenced. And in many ways, it's not in our best interest. And so we have to recognize that and then begin to address it only in a way that only we can address it. And the thing that we need to do is to understand that we have to be humble. We have to be humble in this experience of trying to find out who we are. Because we don't really know our true value until we get there. We have to get in there and understand who we are. So it's work, but it's very good work.
Right. Now, excuse me, can you quickly run through some of the steps that one can take to grow in life to become more successful?
Well, the things that I like to talk about and give people the attitudes of love. The attitudes of love are these perspectives that allow us to be able to look at ourselves in a way that we can see situations, because our attitudes can change situations just that quick, just in the attitude adjustment. And what I do is I teach people about the 7 attitudes of love. And with these 7 attitudes of love, we begin to, no matter what the circumstances are, we begin to change the perspective of the situation so that we can get the desired outcome that we're looking for. And those 7 attitudes are sacrifice, humility, courage, caring, discipline, responsibility, and tenacity. Those attitudes, applying them in any given situation, will allow to understand that not only will benefit us, but also benefit humanity in a whole, as a whole. And that's the attitude that we need to do, because all that love does is it demonstrates our attitudes towards something. And when that attitude is directed in a way that's beneficial to someone else, for instance, that's what love is. Love is the ability to act on behalf of another. And when you see that other as being humanity, something that we are all a part of, then that's something that everybody benefits from. And it's that unity that love presents that allows our abilities, that development, that thing that we've developed, to be accessible, to be appreciated. And then in return, we begin to become fulfilled in that ability to give that which we have. That's what love does. And in the process of doing it with those attitudes, we can ensure that action is accomplished.
Right. Now, moving away from that, I want us to talk about reflection. Right, Juan, is there any reason why a person needs to make reflection a daily habit?
I tell you, the reason that you really need to do that daily is that it keeps you in that state of understanding that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. Okay? And what happens is in our lives, we get caught up in doing the day-to-day things over and over again, that we lose sight of the fact that we're just a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. So it's that ability to stay humble is why we need to reflect and understand that it's something that's important, that we have to always understand that we are part of something bigger. And it also ensures that we realize that we stay confident in what we have to offer, in that ability that we've nurtured and that we've developed. And that's something that allows us to continue to grow and develop ourselves, because ideally, all we're looking for that state of mind, which is a peaceful state, that place where we can have peace, have contentment, and be fulfilled in our lives experience. And we all have that same thing. So to be able to reflect and understand, continually understand that we're in this thing together. We're not alone.
Good. Joanne, right? Let's talk personal now. So I want to ask this question: what meaningful impact, right, as self-reflection has it made in your life? Do you have any personal experience you'd like to share?
Well, you got to understand, my journey has been a life journey, and that's really the experience that I've gone through that has caused me to get to the place where I am, to understand that we're all in this thing together, we're connected. And it was basically as a teenager, I had low self-esteem. I had no confidence. I was basically lost without any hope. And I've come to realize that life is a system. And once you understand what that system is, life becomes simple. And that's what love does. Love made simple is the practical application of love and the ability to be able to apply it in our lives day to day. That's it. And, so that experience that I had, it's basically determined and has shaped my life over the last 30 years. So, I am just encouraged that people can experience the same thing by just understanding the value and the power of love.
Yeah. Now, Love Made Simple. You're an author of, a book titled Love Made Simple. What ignited this spark?
Well, that was it. It was basically because many people that I found out and I've been around just don't see the power of love. It's as though it's been made to be out something less than it really is. And it's been something that that's selfish in nature. And I realized that, so many people are living beneath their abilities, their desires, their wants, and they're struggling. And the thing about it is that we're all here in this experience together, and it's not by mistake. We're here together to be able to connect with one another. See, life is this experience about developing and realizing relationships that can help us bring fulfillment as we look forward to reaching our potential. Those are those relationships that we're here to develop and establish and to nurture and to allow to flourish. And so those are the things that motivated me. It was like, we need each other. And until we recognize that our answers to our challenges are right here beside us, in the fact that I'm here on your podcast, allowing me to provide something, give my gift to you on your platform. I need you. You need me. And we're here working this thing together. So it's that's the motivation that I had to writing the book, because I think most of us realize we miss it. And so I've been wanting to just say, it's not that difficult. Well, let's take it back. I said love made simple. I'm going to give you the guide to it. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not easy, because we have so many forces that are working against us, trying to make it difficult and divide us. But all we got to do is come together, and this thing works a lot better when we're together.
Right. Now, don't you think the right mindset, or the right belief systems, attitude comes to play here, right? Especially in this uncertain and chaotic time that we have the world over. People talk about developing a right mindset, right? What would you like to say to this?
Well, the biggest thing that I think we're struggling with is the lack of tolerance. We are perpetuating division at a rate that is never seen before, because everybody has their own perspective and nobody's willing to hear from the other. Nobody. And so for the reason that, you can be in China and you can be in Korea, you can be in Europe, you can be in America, and everybody has a perspective. But guess what? We're all humans. Right. We're all in this thing together. And if we can't find it out any other way, we should be able to look at this pandemic in this time and realize that we have this thing in common, and we're all being tasked to come together and work through it. And we're struggling. It's as though we don't have that one thing in common that we can come together and say, even in a pandemic, we see too many ulterior motives.
That's right.
When all we all are trying to do is to survive.
Great. Now, thank you, Juan Lee, for your professional insights, right, and your personal experience in this regard. Now, talking about love made simple, how can love be made simple in these trying times that we have in the world over, especially this COVID-19, right, pandemic? Are there any principles that we can follow?
Absolutely. In every chapter of the book, there are these attitudes and there's these characteristics of love. And at the end of each chapter, I give you the pathway to success. I break the book down into 4 categories. The categories are teenagers, young adults,